A little bit of thunder, a little bit of rain meant lamb shank. So let me take you guys through how I made this scrumptious meal. Good for a Sunday. So we start off with our vegetable prep. As you can see, there's a host of veggies. Then, of course, I had to consult my garden just to help me with some thyme, some parsley, rosemary. So at the end of the day, the garden has blessed me once more. Thank you, garden. So I start with my favorite part actually. I've decided to make some butternut with this meal. Just brings a little bit of color, but I also just love chopping butternut. I feel like it's very therapeutic. Okay, so the main part is done, which is the vegetable preparation. So tomatoes, carrots, potatoes, and some chilies. This is celery. I'll actually use half of this to snack during the week, and then some of it to cook. One onion and the chopped butternut, and then all these scraps will go to be compost for later on. How I prep my butternut: usually I've melted some coconut oil and I'm adding a teaspoon, I guess, of vanilla extract. So as you now know, I do not measure, I go with the vibes. Then I start with the lamb shank prepping. I sprinkle it with some flour, salt and pepper, and then I brown it. The reason for this is just to give it a little nice brown color at the end. After maybe 10 minutes, it will be nice and brown. It does not need to be thoroughly cooked, like I said. This part is done purely for the purposes of color. I then remove it, and then I use the same pot. This is my olive oil and garlic mix that I've frozen over time just to preserve my garlic, and I can actually show you guys how to do that another time. I then put the chilies and the onions. I'll add some Worcestershire sauce as well, just to brown the onion before I add in the rest of my vegetables. Okay, so after my Worcestershire sauce, I've added 2 tomatoes. I did put them in hot water for a bit so they are a little smooth and softer. After the tomatoes, I make sure to add in the rest of the veggies, like I said. And I will add tomato paste and the garden fresh vegetables. I'll add as is, and then after the lamb cooks, I will then remove the thick stalks that might make it uncomfortable to consume. I then add a splash of red wine. I'll add some later on as well. That's just to help me tenderize the meat quicker, and so because this process will be 2 hours. After probably 15 minutes, this is how the sauce looks. Notice that I have not used any spices. It's just salt and pepper and the herbs from the garden. So I really like how healthy this is turning out to be. I then add the lamb shank back into the pot. I add the celery sticks a little bit later on, and I'll then add the carrots. But I will then add some water, and then this should be turned halfway through, which is probably 45 minutes into it. And then, oh, sorry, I've also added some bay leaves, just 2 leaves. So after that, I will turn the shank around, and then hopefully it is softer, and then another 45 minutes and it shall be ready. So time for the starch prep. I'm always caught up there. I like something, I like white shank, but today I chose to do mashed potatoes. So I add my potatoes into water, and I add salt and pepper. The potatoes have softened. I then add some almond milk. You can add normal milk if you want. Add some salt and pepper. Add a stick of butter, and then once this melts and dissolves into each other, I will then add back the potatoes and start the mashing. Ooh, I also have this potato spice that I got from the Midlands. It's really amazing. So yeah, and that's how my potato comes up. And last but not least, obviously I'm dishing up for myself, and yeah, enjoy. I almost said bone apple tea and I realized that that's a meme, but enjoy.